Welcome to Xtra presented by VDG Sports. I am your host, Vince Douglas Gregory. No filter. Very censored. You learn a lot from your mistakes. And I learned a lot from my mistakes as well. Like when I lived downtown, there's certain do's and don'ts about that situation. I pointed out a couple back in the past. You can go back and review the historical documents, but I'll give you the Vince's notes on that. If you are going to live downtown, invest in parking. If you can't afford off the street parking, I suggest you don't move downtown. Free advice. Noob that's still here. Noob that is still here. Thank you for joining us. Hope you stay to the end. Regs, we back at it again. Regs, we do what we do. Regs, this is almost like every single day. It feels that way. You know, like every single day. And that's the ha ha, not the he, but you already knew. You already knew. Non-verbal communicating peeps. Another shout out. And it ain't for you because you already know how deeply I appreciate you. That's for everyone else that don't know. You don't know, now you know. You don't know, now you know. And that wasn't a skip of the record. That was me repeating it to give it its emphasis that it deserves. Non-verbal communicating peeps. Regs, that's the level. That's the standards. You need to get there. Noob, that's hopefully still here. Yeah, it's a thing. Learn about it. Ask a friend. Stay to the end. And you'll see. You will see. I learned a lot of things. I fail a lot. There are a lot of mistakes that I make. I just let the mistakes roll off, hold the L, learn with the L because you can't learn without the L, and do all that and put myself in a position where I'm not making the same mistakes twice. I'm not holding the same L. I'm getting the new. And if I ever go back downtown again, I will always invest in parking off the street. Parking on the street, there's so much that can go wrong. As I mentioned earlier, with Vince's notes, and the parking on the street is a no when you live downtown because you have to pay attention to the street sweepers. You have to pay attention to the street cleaners. You have to pay attention to maybe possibly getting snowed in, maybe possibly having to dig out or not being on the street, period, because it's shut down due to some movie production and what have you. There are a large number of reasons why investing in off-street parking make sense. And I held a few L's, like thinking that I can just park in a no parking zone, just a loading zone, run up to my condo, run back down and move it. Yeah. Soon as I got out the car and ran up, that ticket was getting placed on the windshield. Soon as I ran back down, the ticket was getting pulled off the windshield by me because it was there. And it was a picture too. So just in case if I want to contest, just in case if I got froggy, just in case if I wanted to make things move like mountains, it would have been nearly impossible. I'm not going to say impossible because who knows? Who knows? Only the universe knows when it comes to that. And I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave that there. I'm going to leave that there. Not only getting the ticket and dealing with the traffic and dealing with finding a space to park, I found myself driving in blocks or circles, if you want to get a better visual, but making blocks like going from one street, making the block, turning, trying to find somewhere to park that's semi-close, that's in walking distance. And I found myself losing about 20 to 30 minutes a day trying to find somewhere to park. And when I could have just went and parked in the parking lot or parking garage, depending on how you want to splash the cash, depending on how you want to pay them bills, depending on how big your bank is. Still, big bank take little bank. Only if you can afford it, and only stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Now, with all that being said, since it was a condo as well, it wasn't one of those fancy modern condos, I should say. And it wasn't, how can I put this? It wasn't up to your standards. And I'll just say it wouldn't be up to your standards, because your standards, you would need more room. You would need more room, more space to do things and to do stuff. But me being young at the time, me being fresh out the bank, fresh to the cut, fresh on the scene, there was this level of understanding that wasn't developed for me yet. It took some time. It took living that experience before I realized never again. Never again. In other words, this was not, this was a studio condo. This was a studio condo. Everything basically in one room, sorta. Everything basically in 1.5 room. Yeah, because the kitchen was kind of like almost to itself. You could close the door and shut it out from the one big room and not necessarily go in the bathroom as well, because you walk in, you got the small kitchen right to your left, you got the bathroom, and if you keep straight, you got the one large room, living room, bedroom, dining room, one room. That was okay. Just for me. It's just me. That's okay for the age I was. But having, let's say, kickbacks, having social events, but that kind of played into my hands as well, because anybody that would say that they would want to come over and do what it do, come over and kick it back, come over and make things move, can't do it. Studio. Can't do it. Studio. Although, side note, my best friend and his girlfriend did come over and stay a couple of days and what have you. But that's a different story for a different day. We got to stay focused here. We got to stay on the right path. We got to stay on the right track. And the right track is learning from mistakes and holding the L when you need to hold the L. And after you hold the L, make sure that you learn, because you holding the L and you already got the first letter in learning. You just need to end it with a G. You just needed to end it with the G and be the big G, not the little G. The little G dips under. The big G curls up and goes over the top. You want to be over the top. Be the big G. Be the big G. So with the studio, definitely it worked in my advantage with being able to turn down and being able to say, nah, I can't party. Nah, I can't party here. Nah, I can't kick back here. Nah, I can't. Best friend exception. As I mentioned, that was an exception for those few days, but that's a different story for a different time. Maybe maybe. And I'm not going to do rain checks. I stopped doing rain checks a long time ago. And that wasn't the only thing about this condo. That wasn't the only thing about this studio. That was just one more additional thing added on. I will say this. I didn't mind being on the top floor, especially when the elevator worked, which it worked all the time. So I'm okay with that. Being on the first floor, not so much. And then having access, or only people that live there having access to the building, that was a good thing too. And then the mail room, that was a good thing too. And I could never be surprised unless somebody else in the building buzzed my guest or a visitor in by mistake, or just doing so to create chaos. That never really happened. And then it was linked to my phone as well. So if I'm getting buzzed or if somebody's looking for me, I can just easily make the connection and talk to over the speaker or the intercom with my phone and buzz through with my phone and all that. So it was high tech in that way. But it was not high tech in a way where the walls were soundproof. And I'm going to protect the guilty in the game. I'm going to protect the guilty in the game here, even though it's been a long time, even though it's been about a decade, almost 2 decades, even though it's been super, yes, duper long. I gotta protect the guilty in this game. You might know who I'm talking about. You might know who it is. Even though I do. And sharing is caring, and caring is sharing, and all of that good stuff. But the walls was not modern walls. The walls, you can hear just about anything. And I'm not talking about TVs. TVs is normal. TVs is natural. TVs is what it is. You got your TV up on 100, somebody gonna hear it. You got your TV up on 50, somebody gonna hear it. You got your TV on about 20 to 30, not so much. And it wasn't like I'd have my TV on super loud, and that was no duper required for that. And I had it on the regular. And quick side note as well: the cable, the satellite, the devices that you use to watch the telly, all of that was free. Or let me correct myself. All of that was part of the overall bill. So you didn't have to worry about the satellite cable and any of that. It was already included. You're already paying for that as well. I wished I would have invested in helping them make the determination that the walls was just a little bit too thin. I mean, it's one thing when you just sleeping because you're not a night owl and your neighbor is a night owl and your neighbor comes back and let's just say, hat on the door. You know what that is. You know what that means. It's still a family program. It's still a family show. I don't want to say earmuffs, and I don't want to put somebody's business out there like that. I'm not going to even say who the person is, like what it was like. I'm just going to leave it at that. Hat on the door kind of thing. I'm trying to sleep because I got to do what it do. Work early the next morning, only to have, let's say, wall shaking, fist pumping, smiling. Yeah, you can definitely hear smiles. Name calling. Yes, lots of names. I imagine it was good names. I imagine they were good names. And I know everybody's name that went in and out. I know everybody's name that had the hat on the door. And it wasn't like I was keeping count. It wasn't like that I was, how can I put this? Keeping up. It just happened that way. It just happened that way, but rest assured, it really didn't contribute to the overall arching factor that I needed to go Betty bye-bye from this place. It came to the point where one morning I am waking up to a monsoon inside of the crib, inside of the spot. And that's when all of the problems just added up so much. All of the problems just became overwhelming and overbearing. And I said, it is time to bounce to the O. It's time to bounce to the O. And that was a pretty interesting learning experience by holding so many L's within a year. Because, after a year, I just had to leave. I just had to bounce. I just had to, find someone else to take over or do the necessary right thing and just say, hey, it's okay. You can go. You can leave. And the universe helped me out on that. Because everything came a crashing down. If you know, you know. Oh, and there was a leak in the roof. And basically, when it rained, when it snowed, when it sleeted, when it hailed, when it did all that stuff, it came within the one big room, utility room, living room, bedroom, dining room, everything room. And that was my lesson learned free advice card. I played it. I had to play it again because you only get one. You only get one. Thank you for listening. Be sure to check out the website at extra.vdgsports.com. extra.vdgsports.com. There's a YouTube as well. VDG Sports. Like, subscribe, share, do whatever it is you do there. Comment if you must, comment if you may. Yeah, do what it do. Do what you do. As you probably already know, this episode is not being sponsored by VinceDouglasGregory.com. VinceDouglasGregory.com is where you can keep up with me, my whereabouts, my well-being, all things Vince. All things Vince. We're keeping up, or we'll get back to being on track. Just stick with it. And noob, that's gone by now. Thank you. But you miss the goodness. You miss the greatness. Regs, you know. Non-verbal communicating peeps. Peace out. I just gave you a little bit.